We did $1.8 million in branded print-on-demand sales in 2025. And in this video, I'm going to be breaking down our roadmap for 2026, where we are aiming for $3 million and beyond. Now, the good news is that the way we're going to be doing that is by using the one thing that took me 10 plus years to learn, and that is that simple scales. You don't need to be working a whole lot harder to get more sales. In all likelihood, you need to be working smarter. And in this video, I'm going to be breaking down exactly what branded print-on-demand is, if you don't already know, and the 3-step strategy I'm using in 2026 to help us scale to $3 million and beyond. And the goal of this video is so that you can steal this strategy and apply it to your own brand step by step to hopefully scale to whatever your goals are. So first off, the easiest way to explain what branded print-on-demand is to show us one of our team's actual brands, and that is Sloth Hiking Club. Now, Sloth Hiking Club encapsulates exactly what we were doing on our other brand that did $1.8 million in sales, meaning it is entirely print on demand, but it is run through a site that we own ourselves. This gives us all the ability to customize the look, the layout, the feel, the products we're selling, and ultimately own the relationships with our customers. So as you can see on Sloth's site, we start with one specific niche in mind, meaning we speak to one main group of people. Second, we have consistent product types like all t-shirts because we stay super focused and just make really great t-shirts for one specific audience. And then third, we drive ads to the site in order to get the traffic and kicks off the email list that continues to build. So the main elements of branded print on demand is the designs, the ads that we're running, and the emails. And this is no guarantee of success by any means. Like, there's challenges in any business, but this brand went from zero to over $800,000 in its first year online using this 3-pronged approach. Now, as I'm saying that, you hear 3 main things. You hear designs, you hear ads, you hear emails. And so I'm going to share with you our 3-step strategy for 2026. What is the thing that we need to do to increase our sales? What is the thing that you can apply to your brand, whether if you're just fighting for your first sale or if you're already at your 1,000th, no matter where you are, really only comes down to 3 main things. It comes down to the designs, the ads, and the emails. Now, I'm laughing as I'm saying this because it's always been this simple, but my roadmap for the year ahead, I don't know about you, but it always seems so idealistic and just like every idea, every mood board, every vision board just threw up onto a Trello board, lots of boards. And then that was like my plan for the year. Something like this. This is a actual roadmap board that I had from years ago. And as you can see, there's just a slew of different ideas, everything from like TikTok ads to onboarding new agencies, just so many things to be doing. None of the things that actually matter most. That's why, as I mentioned at the beginning, simple scales. So no matter what 2025 had in store for you, if you are building a branded print-on-demand store, I can promise you the best use of your time, the only 3 things that should be on your roadmap is the designs, the ads, and the emails. So let's talk about each one of them and why this is so important. So first off, with the designs, our number 1 priority is increasing the quality and the quantity of designs that we are putting out, which may sound self-evident or obvious, whatever you want to call it, but it is the truth, because in every single business, there is an element that should be constantly getting improved. That is the product. Now, this doesn't have to just be a physical product. This could be software, a service, whatever, like you name it. But there is an area of the business that it is the best use of the founder's time to be improving. Well, it's especially true for print on demand because we're selling graphic apparel, meaning if somebody doesn't like the logo or the design on the shirt that they are buying, then it doesn't matter what kind of ads or emails we run. It's always going to fall on deaf ears. What we are doing a little bit differently this year is we are reverse engineering the entire process. And I want to walk you through exactly what we did that eventually led us to this conclusion of just quality and quantity of designs. Now, what I want you to do is take all of your sales from 2025. Then I want you to look at what was the total number of designs that I created or uploaded. Now, whatever those 2 numbers are, and if you're starting out at 0, then just go along with the example. But say we did $1,000 in sales, and then look at the number of designs you created and say that it's maybe 10. So we made $1,000 in sales and we made 10 new designs. Well, the reason that it's tough normally for print on demand founders to continually crank out new designs is it feels monotonous. It feels like a never ending game, and it is. But there's a trick that we're able to play on ourselves, because when we take those two numbers, we're able to see that I'm actually making about $100 per design in sales. Now, obviously those are ballpark numbers, but when we did that math for Sloth Hiking Club, we found that out of I think it was a couple hundred designs that we had uploaded at that point, and 800 some $1,000 in sales, that came out to $2,500 per design. And this is us coming off the back of a year where we felt like we had made a ton of designs and we're like, I don't really know where we go from here. Nothing injects a new spark of life into your desire to make designs and continue to, fight the good fight, like seeing a cold, hard cash number assigned to each design you made. So that little belief, like breaking exercise, has changed the game for us. And now we know there's literally no reason that we should not just make 1,000 designs, 10,000 designs. And especially with what's possible with AI, our number one priority is to share the KPI with this is we are aiming to create 25 to 50 high quality designs per week that are being curated by somebody who's in our niche. So like picture, if you're in the flowers niche, you would have a botanist, like somebody who is really embedded in your niche, them coming up with it. And then the design, the upload, and like the generation process, all of that be handled by somebody on our team. So then myself and John, the primary operators of the brand, we're able to fully focus on the ads and the emails. So that's the plan when it comes to designs, is we are hiring and outsourcing, which I know not everybody is in a place to be able to do that. If you're not, what I would recommend is focusing a majority of your time on building AI workflows. What I mean by that is, like, just first off, accepting that you need a lot more designs. You need like 100 times more designs than what you have if your goal is to scale like exponentially. That is just a fact of life. The sooner we can get on board with that, the better we are. But once you understand that, the next step in your mind should not be just extrapolating out like, okay, how much time do I have? Like, it takes me about 15 minutes, 30 minutes to make one design. I need about 1 billion, the guy in the video said. So therefore, I'm screwed. Nice. No, it's not like that. It's like, come up with how many are you capable of doing right now? Then what's your target? Like when you say, like, whatever your revenue goal is for the year, you basically just reverse engineer that into the number of designs you need to make. And so if you're not in a place to hire like we are right now, then start practicing with your AI workflows. This isn't saying you need to automate everything and just have it be like push a button. Like, we're not at that point yet. The amount of time it's taking you per design, we're aiming for that to be decreasing like over time. That's the thing that I would be tracking if I was in your shoes. So that summarizes our design strategy for 2026. It is hiring, outsourcing, and leaning more into the analytics, which I didn't touch on a ton, of what designs are actually performing the best. And then second, we have the ads. And our number one priority when it comes to the ads in 2026 is continuing to test and stay flexible with our approach. What I mean by this is that the whole print on demand world and like just digital marketing in general got rocked with Andromeda. Not that, everybody's results necessarily dropped off a cliff, but there was a lot of hubbub and discussion about like what it means. And in all reality, what we're still seeing is perform the best is exactly what still performed for us 6 months, a year ago. Now, to be completely fair, that could mean like one of two assumptions. Either one, it's going to catch up with us eventually, like who knows, or maybe it was like Black Friday, that's possible. Or it could also mean that we haven't made enough ads, which I'm kind of leaning towards that one. Now, what I mean between like what was working and then Andromeda style stuff, what has been working is stuff like this. This is Sloth Hiking Club's like ads that are running right now. It's just quick short form ad copy, like basically urgency, scarcity based. And then just in terms of the creative, 90% of our ads is just the flat lay mockup. We use catalogs, we use static ads, but so much of it is just the flat lay mockup. And it's visual, it's striking, it's super easy to run ads this way. All that being said, that's what's worked in the past. And now what's supposedly working for Andromeda is, a wider diversity of creatives and more intention on the creative angles and hooks that you are using to communicate with your audience. So getting away from this short form style copy where it's just, two very strategically selected emojis at the top of the ad copy, very strategically selected capitalization. And then second line is like the reason or the urgency to click now. And then the third line is the CTA with potentially an emoji, but definitely a URL, and likely a URL that has been shortened so that it doesn't take up and you see the see more. Like that old meta, no pun intended. We are going to be testing out a whole slew of things to hopefully expand beyond that into things that are like really just connecting with our audience. What does that translate into? It's more ad copy and it's more creative. How are we going to be coming up with those? We're going to be keeping a finger to the pulse of like what is currently working, what are people talking about, what are they testing, and then having like our vision library of all of the competitors' ads and like latest trainings that are coming out. Basically just keeping, like I said, a finger to the pulse of like what's working, what are people testing, as like 20 to 30% of the things that we're trying out. Like another 50% should be like building upon what's already working, so we make sure we don't throw that away. And then another 20 to 30% from us just coming up with stuff on our own. So those are the angles that we're going to be pursuing. And our KPI here is we want to be launching 50 new ad creatives per week. So for designs, we want to be making at least 25. And then for ad creatives, we're aiming for 50. And honestly, that's super easy to hit, especially nowadays with AI. Okay, and then third and finally, we have our ultimate trifecta for 2026, rounding out with emails. So started off with designs, making products, ads, getting people to know about the products. Third, following up and letting people know more about the products we have and the new designs that we've just launched. So what our strategy is with this, well, in 2025, we took great strides. Our email as a percentage of revenue started off the year about 15, 20%. Then as things progressed, by the end of Q4, it was hovering around 30 to 35%. Now, none of that is mind-blowing for a lot of people in the industry, but for us, doubling the amount of revenue that's coming from email is a huge win because that revenue is 50, 60% net profit margin. So what are we doing in the new year to further that goal? Well, two main things. Number one is adding on SMS. As of right now, we are doing 100% of email marketing, which I really categorize as like follow-up marketing, is just through emails. We are collecting phone numbers, but we haven't rolled out like a full SMS plan. So that's step number one. And step number two is it goes hand in hand with what we are doing with the ads, which is we are testing out a wider diversity of emails that are relationship building, brand building, basically more Andromeda, and starting to exercise our ability to create different buckets or cohorts of customers based off the specific designs that they bought. Let me give you an example of this. So if I own we'll go with an easy example, a space store. I'm in the space niche, Galactic Tees. There we go. There's the, for everybody who made it that far in the video, there's your reward pun. That's definitely not a reward. Anyway, so we are Galactic Tees, and way that every store starts is every customer comes in and they get put into the same flows, they get the same follow-ups, they get the same campaigns. It's just, what do we know about them? We know their name, we know their address, we know when they bought, and we know some other stuff. We don't use any of it. So everybody, for all intents and purposes, is the same person. But that's not totally realistic or representative of who our audience really is. Because if you think about it, I could be buying from Galactic Tees for a different reason than you are. Like I could be buying because I'm just a huge fan of astronauts. Like they are my people. Never talked to one, never met one, but I think they've got what it is, you know, whatever that means. But then there could be somebody else who is a huge fan of just planets and like star systems and the like astronomy aspect of it. And then there could be somebody else who is like a huge Area 51 person and they love aliens. Like those three people, like, and I could have designs, if I'm the owner, I could have designs for all of those different types of people on my site. Now, and I'd be perfectly fine to send them the same kind of follow-ups. Like, hey, we have new, space or outer space designs. Like, come check it out. If I'm getting that kind of email, perfectly okay. Just if I want to take things to the next level, if I want to increase the response rate that I'm getting from my audience, if I want to over-deliver the value to them and give them something that is extremely unique, feels like it is uniquely them, and then I get them as the brand owner, would I be sending them, here's our new space collection? Or would I be saying, here's our new alien collection. Here's our new Area 51 collection. Here's our new celestial bodies collection. Here's our new, I wanted to say John Wayne. That is not an astronaut. This is not my niche. Here's our new Buzz Aldrin collection. Yeah. Once we are able to start breaking up the catalog that way and sending emails to people, it just takes things to a different level. So how do we go about doing that? Well, two main options. Number one is in our email pop-up. We are able to segment people based off of a response that they have on the survey, which we do right now. It's just a very basic question, like, who are you shopping for? And we found that increased the take rate of the pop-up. So now it's at about 10%, which there again, we had kind of accepted 2 to 3% for years. But anyways, so we can either do it through the email pop-up, or second, by segmenting people based off of the products they buy. So we can take time and go through our whole collection and say, what are all the planetary, like, body designs that we have? What are all the alien designs we have? What are all the astronaut designs we have? And tag them. And then we can import those tags over into Klaviyo, or you can export the customer list from Shopify and then import it into Klaviyo, and then you have them segmented. Lots of different ways you can do it. You can ask ChatGPT to explain it more succinctly than I just did. But basically, it's very straightforward for us to do that, to split it up that way. What's much harder is for us to evolve, like, how do we talk to these people separately? Like, what's doing it too much? What's not doing it enough? Like, how far should we go? And so that's something we're going to be experimenting with. But our primary objectives for the year is the designs, 25 to 50 per week, the ads, about 50 per week as well. And then emails, we're trying to get that up from about 30 to 35% consistently, and then up over 40% of revenue by adding in SMS. So that's where our focus is. That's our strategy for the year ahead. And if you want to learn a heck of a lot more about this, or if any of this went over your head, be sure to check out the brand new 2026 course that we just launched over on my Awesome Wife's channel. We break it down in a ton of detail, give you all the tools and training, and it's really like step by step to walk you through everything we just talked about from soup to nut. So without further ado, thanks for watching and have a great 2026. See you soon.